Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Lovely day today in Bangalore. And thank you, nasscom, for giving us this opportunity to be here and discuss this interesting topic on future enterprises and how they are catalyzing total enterprise reinvention. With me, we have this August panel here, great minds, and we'll discuss some of these aspects together. Let me jump straight into the topic by talking about the recent research that Accenture did with about 1,500 plus CXOs globally. One thing that came out of the research was that large enterprises are transforming more and faster than ever before. But a select group out of these organizations, about 8%, are the ones which are, we've called them reinventors. These are the ones which are carefully choosing a strategy of total enterprise reinvention focused on a strong digital core. These reinventors are getting about 10% more incremental revenue growth. They are getting about 13% more cost reduction benefits and about 17% more balance sheet improvement benefits. Now, given these are leaders in the pack, the rest of the pack, out of that 50%, want to get into the category of reinventors. Now, total enterprise reinvention is about setting up new performance frontiers, not only for the companies, but also more than likely the industry in which they operate. But the question is, why now? We at Accenture also have a total disruption index globally wherein we monitor political, geopolitical, climatic, industry shifting, whether consumer preference changes or technology disruptions globally. And as per that, over the past 5 years, there is a 200% increase in volatility. Now, just to compare, previous 5 years, this volatility increase was only 4%. So the point is the organizations which won't adapt, transform, or reinvent will be left behind. So what is total enterprise reinvention? I mean, there are about 6 characteristics of these reinventors. One is about having a very strong digital core, a core which is developed on leveraging data, AI, and cloud, a foundational platform which is to collect, store, and analyze data, and also develop new products and services. Second very important characteristics that these organizations or reinventors have is a very strong talent strategy and new ways of working, leveraging technology. Now, talent strategy is not about consuming talent, but how are they creating talent? And third aspect is about having a DNA of continuous innovation and breaking organizational silos rather than just operating in their, doing one-off transformation programs and then getting onto BAU. I'll give you an example of Siam Commercial Bank. It's a 100-plus-year-old Thailand bank. What they did was they significantly invested in their technology and digital backbone to become a digital bank from a traditional bank. So much so that their digital user base increased from 2.5 million to about 13 million. There are others as well on that journey. Unilever took a very strong journey to cloud recently, one of the most complex journeys in the consumer goods industry, and which will enable them to have faster product launches, more operational efficiencies, and come closer to their consumers. Their GCC in India was front and center of it. The topic here is how will GCCs enable the total enterprise reinvention, and I have 3 of my great friends here to talk about that. Let me come over first to you, Akash. Equipment uptime is a real competitive advantage for Caterpillar. I mean, all of your products, whether they're excavators or off-road trucks, they are connected. So how is your GCC driving equipment uptime in the fields of your connected products?
Thanks, Ankur. Very excited to be here. Great question. Caterpillar is a yellow iron company. Been in the industry for the last 100+ years. We make really, really big machines. These machines crawl very difficult terrains across the globe, across a variety of different geographic locations. In so difficult of terrains that they, at the end of the day, may communicate with satellites to be able to operate them, right? We started putting digital at its core and and infusing digital DNA close to 4.5 years back into the system. So it all starts with connectivity. We call these intelligent machines that we have. We connect these machines digitally. We harvest a ton of data every second that is getting produced. We bring it back, we clean it, we parse it, and then store it in a way that we can make insights or drive insights out of it using AI, ML algorithms, and thereby driving insights which would then be consumed by the products, the digital products that we have, in order to provide those products to our customers, dealers, to be able to operate these machines at productivity levels, more uptime, to your question specifically. So we started putting together specific to how we operate or can better operate our machines digitally. We put together a new product called VisionLink. This particular product today, it got launched for second quarter of this year. And this particular product, going back to the point of GCCs, I would say 40+% of this product was developed in India, co-developed with our other development centers across the globe. Now, that's the value and shift in value that GCCs here in India have started to deliver. We moved on to that particular journey 3.5 years back. It wasn't easy. In the last 3.5 years, we have grown 10x by attracting the right talent in India. And India brings that value proposition of abundant, really excited, really intelligent and relevant set of talent that we have. So finding that talent was not that difficult. Bringing them in, grooming them, helping them understand the ways of working, the software practices and discipline, the way we write software product is the hardest part. And then, once we build that capability, we mature that capability here locally, and we can run that at scale to deliver software. And that's how I just talked about one product called VisionLink, specifically from an uptime and productivity of our machine standpoint, but then the entire gamut is out there of products, be it e-commerce, be it service technicians that go into the field, looking at the condition of our equipment from a condition monitoring standpoint, etc. So that's what I would say, Ankur.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Akash, for sharing those insights. Shiva, let me come to you next, and let me pick an important and difficult time in most of our lives over the past few years. How did you see your GCC helping drive the reinvention or the journey of AstraZeneca during the entire COVID phase?
Thank you, Ankur. So this was absolutely a dramatic period. I think as soon as the pandemic started, I think the first couple of weeks, the GCC was figuring out how everybody that was working in offices could work remotely, which we all did. I think all of the GCCs did that for their respective companies. The next couple of, I would say 2-3 months, were reinventing how we operate the business, right? For example, how we detail physicians that had to be physically, which was happening physically. How do you virtualize that? How do you virtualize clinical trials? How do you, pick up new approaches to training people using augmented reality and things like that. And then the next 6 months was all about our products. How do you develop something that used to take 5 to 6 years in, say, 10 months and get it to the patients around the world, right? So that required complete reinvention of literally every part of the value chain. For example, how do you actually conduct your clinical trials? How do you actually develop the processes to get them into factories? How do you actually get tens of new partners, manufacturing partners around the world, get them ready for this? How do you actually distribute this? How do you look at safety, patient safety, all of this? And we had to literally reinvent everything because the time that was available was maybe a sixth of what we normally have. The scale that was required was maybe 10x what we were used to before that. And the GCC played a really key role. I would say just as important as the digital core, I would say was the GCC core in this, because the GCC was able to get very quickly ramped up and engaged into these activities and make sure that we were rethinking every part of this process with the patient at the center of it. Because of that, patient centricity is what I think people were able to go that extra mile. They were able to rethink all of these processes and the way we do things in a very rapid fashion so that we get these medicines to patients in time, right? So I think without the GCCs in India and Mexico, we couldn't have done this.
Fantastic. That's incredible how that shift was done at AstraZeneca. Shiva. Thanks so much for that, sharing that. Stefan, let me come to you. Obviously, we talked about the COVID phase. Post-COVID, there's a significant surge in the aviation industry demand, and there are huge growth plans Airbus has, and we see huge growth plans for India as well for Airbus. How has your GCC leveraged data and AI to enable that growth for Airbus globally?
First of all, allow me to say, as a German here, working since 20 years for Airbus and since 2 years now living in Bangalore and in charge of digital and IM here for Airbus in India, it's great being here on this amazing event. And coming to your question, I like first a bit to set the context of the challenge because it's a great and it's a nice challenge. For sure, we all had this impact as just highlighted by Siva for the pandemic, and especially the aviation industry, which was down within a short time, down more or less to zero, and where we had also to reduce massively our production rates. But be aware, Airbus globally, we are delivering this year 720 aircrafts. Last year it was 661. But what you should also know is there is an order backlog of aircrafts of 7,500 something. Imagine that. It would mean if you are ordering a product from our side, it will take quite long to get it delivered from us. So therefore there is a lot to do on our side to increase the production rate. And this is not something what you can easily do from one day, from 1 month, from 1 year to another. There's a lot behind, especially knowing that an aircraft consists of around 2 million parts. So you can imagine that our production system, which complexity is there, including all the supply chain, which is also there. So a ramp up is also then impacted a lot or influenced a lot by the supply chain. And now coming to the importance of data and also AI, for sure, all that is helping a lot in that context. And in that moment, our GRC here in India comes into play. In the last 5 years, we have built up mainly digital and information management capabilities here. I'm really proud about the progress what we could make. It was even accelerated by the pandemic. It was all done in a very close collaboration and integration with the European organization. As you know, Airbus is very much European-centric. We have now reached 1/3 of the workforce here in India, 1/3 of the digital and IM workforce here. And this shows how important the talent pool, how important all the teams are. I would like just to touch point 2 aspects here. On one hand, as Sindhu was here from SAP Labs India, we are having around 250 people with competences on SAP. There's no other place in Airbus where we have so much competences on SAP, like here in India, like here in Bangalore. Working closely together in a partnership with the SAP Labs India here, driving innovation and helping our teams in Europe to increase the production, to improve the production. We have teams on advanced analytics, on AI, experts on computer vision. We have a huge analytics platform collecting all data from PLM engineering solutions, from the ERP solutions, as well as operational data from coming from the airlines in order to help also the production to be improved. And you can really see it. And all that is very much driven with the competence from the teams here in India. So therefore, our team here in India, in Bangalore, is very much on the core of the digital organization and the digital capabilities we're having in Airbus.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Stefan, for sharing that. Well, let me come back to you again. I think we talked about topic is transformation, innovation. How is your GCC enabling the global transformation and innovation that AstraZeneca is going through? Obviously, you touched upon certain paths through the COVID journey, but on a broader aspect, if you could share some more on that.
Yeah, thank you, Ankur. So as a company, our bold ambition is that in the next 7 years, we will have double the number of net new medicines in the market as we had in the last 7 years. So the kind of growth that we're seeing is not possible to scale linearly. So we have to grow through innovation. And the GCCs are going to be a very fundamental component of that scaling and growing through innovation. So the way we approach innovation is at 3 levels. First of all, we have to innovate in everything we do. So every member of the GCC is an innovator. So they can use lots of different technologies and tools every day, automation, ChatGPT, AI, etc., to make their work smarter, faster, easier, so we can then free up the capacity. And then the second level we do is to say, any new technology we want to scale out of the GCC in India. For example, virtual and augmented reality, the global center of excellence sits in India. Cloud data platform, the global platform sits in India. IoT and intelligent digital twins, that sits in India. So that way we are able to then bring the latest technology, but make it available for the whole world in a much faster and much more cost-effective fashion. So we can actually make the best use of these technologies. The third level, I think the top of that pyramid is breakthrough innovation. So how do we get the amazing startup ecosystem, amazing academic institutions, and the young talent that's out here, how do we get those breakthrough innovations which can actually completely transform the business? For example, early detection of cancer. So one of the ambitions for AstraZeneca is to end cancer as a cause of death long term for humanity. So to do something like that, you need to be detecting much earlier. And there is a lot we can do with AI today that can actually do that. And there are startups and companies in the ecosystem that are doing great work. So we're taking some of those partners, making sure they work in India, and then taking them global. So those are the ways in which I think we can see the transformation, the reinvention actually happening out of the GCCs, where we are actually rethinking every bit of that business process. So fundamental to that, though, is the understanding of the business. So we need to make sure that everyone is patient-focused and everyone understands how does the business actually work. So it's been very big for us in terms of making sure every one of our GCC colleagues really understand their part of the business as good as somebody sitting somewhere else in the world and running the business. If not as good, but enough as good so that they can leverage technology to innovate. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Shiva. Akash, let me come back to you. I think the share of digital channels in Caterpillar's global business is increasing, whether it is influencing offline sales or actual e-commerce and online sales. The work that you're doing from your GCC in India, how much of that is influencing these digital channels, where it is digital marketing or through e-commerce? How is all of that evolving?
Yeah, thanks, Ankur. Great question again. So if I look at India GCC that we have, and I'll take you guys through with that, how we have built it together. When we look at software product development and the discipline has so many areas that you need to develop your capability in to be able to deliver on products or solutions from scratch and fully own them. And it is very, very important for GCCs to be able to build all these capabilities in software product development. So starting from product management to project management to development scrum teams to operations to and then testing and quality assurance, etc. All of that. Now we have been able to develop all these capabilities in the last 3.5 years with infusion of external talent and internal talent that we have grown, right? With that behind us, we've been able to take up solutions and products to develop them from scratch. And specific to your question upon e-commerce and online channels, obviously we are in an era wherein online channel sales are much, much more when it comes to parts that are used by our machines are more bought through online channels than over the counter. And we as Caterpillar and Caterpillar Digital is infusing the digital DNA with the philosophy of easy to buy our machines and then easy to own them. And to be able to do that, we have been categorically investing a lot of investments, money into our e-commerce tools and technologies and products that we have and transforming them as we speak. So the GCCs here are capable to pick on these products which we are trying to transform, which would then be developed or co-developed here in India as part of CAT Digital India, along with our global partners, and then which would drive at the end of the day e-commerce and online channel sales, to your question.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Akash, for sharing that. Let me come back to you, Stefan. I think we're kind of getting to the top of the hour. Last question to you. I think sustainability is becoming of a lot of importance for aviation industry. There are new materials that are coming into the picture, new aviation sustainable fuels coming in. What is the work that you're doing from the GCC here to enable the mandate of sustainability for Airbus globally?
Indeed, sustainability is for us at the core. Airbus is pioneering sustainable aerospace for a safe and united world. That's the Airbus purpose. And we're all aware, without sustainability, without decarbonization of the aviation industry, we will not exist anymore at a certain stage. Therefore, Airbus has the ambition to lead the transformation of the ecosystem of the aviation industry to reach really zero emission decarbonization for the full aviation by 2050. But there are steps also to go there. For example, our ambition is having in 2030 all our aircraft types capable to operate with 100% sustainable aviation fuels. 100%. In 2035, we would like to have the first aircraft with zero emission, powered by hydrogen. In order to do this, we are at the moment, there's a huge digital transformation program running at Airbus, which is called Digital Design, Manufacturing and Services, which should really help our engineers to work together closely, starting to design the new generation of the aircraft, having in mind how this aircraft is produced and how this aircraft is delivered and then also operated. And here we are also at the core, where our center here in India is helping and supporting a lot. And really we are absolutely essential and at the core here. It's not only that what we are doing in digital, we have also engineering here. Even Airbus India has been founded 2007 here in India as an engineering center. So we have not only 1,200 people, 1/3 of the workforce regarding digital here. We have also 1,000 plus engineering colleagues here who are covering the whole spectrum of all engineering competencies at Airbus. And not to forget that we all are working with the supplier ecosystem, which is also here. On top, we have created an innovation center very linked with the disruptive R&D globally at Airbus, which we have here now, working with startups, being really essential on working on disruptive technologies, helping all these sustainability ambitions which are there from Airbus side. So therefore, really, we are here with our digital and engineering competences at the core and at the heart, and knowing really how Airbus is working and how our employees are working on a global level. Airbus India is here really at a unique place because we have all those competences in one building here, which is giving us a lot of capability to people working together, collaborating together. We have every week visitors coming, and I would not call them visitors, colleagues who are coming from Europe, from a global level here, from the US, from Canada, from worldwide. We are all working closely together in strong collaboration globally in order to achieve that Airbus is pioneering sustainable aerospace for a safe and united world.
Thank you so much. This is really nice, Stefan. And thank you so much. I think our time is up. But thanks so much, Shiva, Stefan, Akash, for sharing all your insightful experiences and the way you're driving a lot of this reinvention for your organizations right from here in India. To close, I'll just share this one proverb that I like. When winds of change blow, many people build walls, but some people build windmills. I think a lot of these experiences that are being shared by folks here, I'm sure will give us food for thought for building windmills for us as we go through our own transformation journeys in these exciting times. Thank you so much.
For more content on tech and leadership, subscribe to NASScom YouTube channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.